Hello, this is Mike for Dimensional Walking, and today I want to talk about unmasking a mystery, or at least presenting you with a mystery. And this mystery is about I guess we'll call it the famous, maybe the most famous UFO sighting in Texas history. Okay, and it probably ranks in the top five of the United States, but a lot of people haven't heard about it, and I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention if you haven't, because I think it's worth it. I think it was a great sighting, actually. So this happened in 2008 in Stevensville, uh, Texas, which is, I'd say approximately about 100 miles west, south, west southwest of Dallas, Texas. Okay. So it was January the 8th, and it was, let's just talk about it. It was seemingly a very ordinary Thursday evening. And the town is, you may know that area is kind of a dairy farm area. And it was pretty much it's a small town which has a pretty laid back type atmosphere. I think when I used to do some work in the Dallas area, I think I drove through it twice. It was a nice sized little town, and that's about all I can honestly remember about it. And this was probably about 10 years ago, I guess, that I drove the last time I drove through there. So, anyways, the sun. Here's kind of I'll set it up for you a little bit. The sun dips below the horizon, casting these long shadows across Stevensville streets. The residents were just doing their normal stuff, walking through the downtown area or the town area. But little did they actually know that their lives to some extent were going to be changed quite a bit by this event that was coming very shortly. Um, so about 8:15, the first reports came in. Witnesses described these multi-bright white lights arranged in triangular V-shaped formation, and some of the lights were moving kind of silently, but also were moving at incredible speeds of, they estimate, 3,000 miles per hour, which is obviously not anything at the time in 2008, and probably even today, uh, that we have as far as a military situation goes. So it really does lean very much to alien type technology. So the initial sightings, triggered kind of this wave of excitement and bewilderment. People rushed outside. The word spread pretty rapidly. Eyes were glued and mesmerized to the display above them. Uh, what was quite eerie, I think, that many of the witnesses said was kind of the whole silence thing. Here was something that was moving at great speeds at times. Sometimes it was just hovering. It was changing colors. And I think everybody seemed to be amazed, at least all the witnesses that I've read about. The silence was a strange things for them, because I guess anytime you see a aircraft moving at speeds like that, you always will hear some type of noise. Or, again, 3,000 miles an hour is well above supersonic speed. That would probably be, gee whiz, at least a Mach 5, I think, Mach 5 or Mach 6. I'm not sure exactly, but it's somewhere in that range. So that's pretty amazing. And typically that would cause a sonic boom. And, a pretty dang loud one, too, as a matter of fact. Um, so, anyways, again, there was dozen of witnesses, and they were uh, housewives and police officers. It's just a whole variety in the town saw this. Um, again, there was this feeling of awe and wonder. Others expressed the fear and confusion. Um, so, right away, the local authorities, of course, were notified, the police, and also the FAA was also notified by the police. So they were kind of aware of it pretty quickly after this whole event kind of happened. So the involvement in law enforcement and FAA demonstrates that there was a great deal of seriousness, and the authorities approached it in a very serious manner, and there was a great deal of investigation. Um, Again, some of the people contributed to possible aircraft, although that was probably thrown out because of the speed, the estimated speed, anyways. Um, So there was a lot of questions, and there still is a lot of questions actually today. So uh, there were, after doing more research, I found out the witness range of witnesses is between 50 and 100. Okay. And there was other people that, kind of got in on the observation at the very end. So they didn't really see the whole thing. But you could probably say definitely 50 to 100 people had a solid, say 15, 20 minutes of observation. Um, so here's a little bit more from a couple witnesses. There was a guy named David Karan, and he filmed the triangular formation. Initially, he was very frightened, but then after a while, he just became extremely fascinated by it. I think you can go online. I don't have a link right here, but I think there is a film showing the triangular formation, and I believe it's from him. His name is David Caron. And then there's Mike Odom. Uh, he saw it in the high speed, and he actually felt heat from it, which was very quite odd because it's hard to believe he was that close to it. But apparently there was some heat, or it was maybe something he imagined. I don't really know. But he did say that he felt heat. And then it was police officer Rick Smith. Initially, he was quite skeptical, but then once he started looking at it, he said it was the brightest lights he'd ever saw without sound, with no sound. And then there was next one fell under the category of confusion and wonder was Lisa Smith. She was a young girl and she was scared, but then was extremely curious because the lights would constantly change colors. And not only were they suddenly shooting out at tremendous speeds, but then they were also hovering too over the town. And then there was Mr. and Mrs. Williams. They observed the lights for about 15 minutes and felt some very powerful electrical presence. Okay, powerful electrical presence. And then there was a group of teenagers that witnessed the lights moving silently, and they were full of excitement and disbelief. So that's how that was. Um, the formation again was kind of a triangular V shaped and a linear arrangements of lights. Again, the speeds were up to 3,000 miles an hour to slower. And then there also were some hovering terms. Um, the lights in color were described as white, orange, red, and blue. And flat, and sometimes they're flashing. Sometimes they went all blue. Sometimes they went all red. Sometimes I guess they went orange. I guess I missed orange, but there's an orange too. Uh, some of them describe the lights as larger than airplanes. Now that would be pretty dang big. Also, some also compared them to big bright stars too, which obviously they weren't stars, but maybe the brightness is what they were talking about. Most of them reported to complete silence, although there were some of them that talked about a faint hum of buzzing sound. So, and what was interesting after this was kind of all over the whole town and the whole area around there had this whole, I guess, tourist attraction. I think my understanding was years later they had some kind of a festival there, and it was considered a UFO hotspot, I guess, and did attract tourists. So the bottom line here was an amazing that many witnesses saw a multi-witness type event that happened in Texas, and the investigation was the police and the FAA did an investigation. I'm sure the military were involved too. Um, but apparently, the military, by the way, was contacted, and there was an air base fairly close by. But I guess they had no planes or anything up in the sky, and they didn't know anything of it until the people in Stevensville made reference to it, called them or something. So, anyways, so that was it. Stevensville, probably one of the top sightings in the United States, and multi-sighting, and so pretty amazing, pretty incredible. I'm sure there's some of you people out there that know somebody that actually saw it And maybe you saw it yourself. If you did, I sure like to hear from you. You can send me an email at dimensionwalking at Gmail, or you can comment here, of course. And until we see you again, bye bye.